Good evening. Good evening, boils and ghouls. Ah. It's Halloween. Hey. I don't do shit for Halloween. The thought of doing Halloween is cool. I actually like doing costumes. That's too much fucking effort. The spooky words. I did say the spooky words. I said all the spooky words. Well, not all of them. There's plenty more spoopiness. Plenty more spoopiness that could be said. Like responsibility. Ah.
Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrek 35 has told us, that is.
Does everybody remember the story dump from last time?
If the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
How long does edamame last?
But if Hevrek 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
Saw this edamame that I ordered like 5 days ago, and I never eat it all at once because it's like I can't. Like, okay. There's this one pub near me. They don't have any like small like sides. They just have like massive appies. It's been refrigerated. So it's like one of these containers, but like it's like full. Like overflowingly full when you order it. And I'll get it once in a while. It usually takes me like 3 days, or it takes me 3. Yeah, like 3 like solid gold. Like it's a lot. It's a lot of edamame. I think I ordered it like 5 days ago, maybe 6 days ago. I just kept forgetting. And I was like, all right. And I'm just like trying to eat little bits here and there. And I'm like, how long does this last? Like it tastes normal. I'm just worried that like it's wetter than it usually is on the inside. Does that mean it's starting to go bad? Like that's what like a lot of greens do. They'll get really wet right before they start rotting, like lettuce does. They're starting to go pale and brown. But like the insides are still completely normal. Am I gonna get sick? There's really not that much left either. I could just throw it in the compost. Just dropped one. Fuck. You know what? I don't trust this. I'm not eating it. I had three little edamames. I'm like, there's something about it where like I feel like I shouldn't eat more than what I already have. In fact, I should. I need to like wash it out of my mouth. Like it doesn't taste bad. It's just like I have this inkling that if I like ate it all, I'd have like a stomach ache or something. I've never been food poisoned because I have this paranoia. Or like, if I taste something even slightly off, I'm just like, not gonna eat this. Don't want food poisoning. No, thank you.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was
same thing with this
taking it
wine.
really hard earlier.
So wine, once you've opened a bottle, It starts to degrade after like 2 weeks. I think I opened it like a week and a half ago. So I'm like, oh, I gotta drink this wine before it starts tasting shitty and potentially gets you sick.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this.
They
but
will if you
list
turn
of
the planet.
grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long.
By planet,
and
I mean
understandably
Rena.
so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
God, wouldn't that be
Well,
nice?
First, we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You know, if our planet had a world-ending scenario, I would hope that at least that would bring people together. At least a little bit. Yo, he gave me 5 bottles of happy.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
There's one thing I just thought of. And I can only think of one thing. Only Danans have access to light astral energy, but only Renans have access to dark astral energy. Is that simply because of like where they're living? I can only think that would be the only reason, because if they're all the same people, then like Danans and Renans can have access to both. Technically, it's not like they're cut off biologically. Where that's how they made it sound before, where it was like a biological thing as part of their race, but they're the same race. So maybe it's just maybe just like living on Lenegus close to Rena and like being under the influence of the Great Spirit of Rena, that gives you access to dark.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? And we'll
I don't
talk
think
about
they'll
the
ever go
Renans
into
look
that
like they shook
detail.
you up a bit.
Seems a little too... That's like a
Yeah.
detail they would never
I
bother
get this
clarifying.
sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dan and mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of
Pressure
bad
from the
blood and
nanotechnology?
prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Possibly. I don't remember what they said about, like... I know there was mention of, like, a nanotechnology thing. But I don't recall if they said anything about, like... the hell Ganquil actually changing? Like, using that nanotechnology to change people? I don't recall if they said anything like that. Or maybe they used it for medical purposes. Like the Renans have just been using that kind of technology for medical purposes. I don't know. I think just proximity makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Renwell,
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memory started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
it was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I'm gonna change his glasses if I can right now. I can't right now. I'm over the crazed farmer. I'm over it.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why.
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
Oh god, he said the F word.
Praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danon, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
Was there any word on
I
like
am. There's
how
a
we're
lot
gonna
to think about, but at the end of the day,
how
Dan
we're
is
gonna
still
stop
in danger.
the Great
I don't
Spirit?
care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
Are we just gonna punch him to death?
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah.
Don't worry
3
about the power
centuries
of
ago,
friendship.
the astral energy that
Oh
appeared
God,
at the
this
spirit
again.
channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
while the main body resides in Rena.
It's like she's infected.
Shion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
I mean, it was either going to be this or inexplicably the thorns were its
The
own
question
thing.
is, how do we confront it?
And then they were going to use the thorns against
Suffice
the
it to
spirit
say,
somehow.
that flower growing out of Rena is enormous. large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns' connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the great astral spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
I keep smiling
made up.
internally
Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
at the name Hevrekt. Hevrekt. It's even R-E-K-T wrecked.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renis Alma stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Wait, where am I? What? Oh, I thought my computer was gonna freeze again. I bet you it almost did. Was this to go back to our ship? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we named it Fall Nights or whatever. Why do I feel like we haven't been to one of these levels yet? Alright, that was lower. Yeah, I haven't been to... Unless that is upper. I haven't been to upper yet. We are very far away. Like, very far away.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renis Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renis Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational. It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the Great Astral Spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renis Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns could be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renis Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the Great Astral Spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony. Considering that the Renis Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed, I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to
That's the
stop
spirit.
Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
P36 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar, is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work
getting
on your
comfortable, I
starship
guess.
has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Oh my
Man,
god. I
Is
can
it
do
too much
things.
to ask for P36 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated
More
stuff.
skits.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now
More
all we have to do is
dialogue.
rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Rena right away.
That's why it's called Tales of Story Time.
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not
Hey.
sure. In small doses, maybe. But with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit.
The worst part is I'm pretty tired. And I'm sitting here, and my eyes are getting heavy, and I'm getting like restless legs syndrome because I'm not outputting any energy. I'm just sitting here waiting. And it's just like, can I play a game now?
Vessel's worth of energy.
It's nice that we're getting answers, though. We pretty much know everything that's going on at this point.
If it has the capacity
I'm just waiting for them to finish talking so we can go do the final dungeon.
to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
P36 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
That was a surprisingly short skit. I was expecting that to go on for another 5 to 10 minutes. It'll take some time to completely repair your starship. I suggest that y'all get some rest. If we have another split up and everyone talks again, I may stop playing. Because it's like, I want to do something. I don't know why there isn't a weapon system for each core. That's a good question, actually. Why does the fire core have, like, this cool blazing sword and none of the others do? Maybe they did, and,
You
like,
still
the
thinking
lords
about
were
what
using
the
them.
scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives.
I don't read a lot of books. So therefore, I don't read a lot of good, well-written stories. Because all the good, well-written stories are in books. Because that's where the talented writers are. They write books. Do they repeat themselves as often as, you know, game stories tend to? Because, like, I feel like this conversation that Kisara is having with Dohalim, I feel like this is, like, the 15th time we've listened to this exact conversation. I'm sitting here like, how many times have I heard her say this? Holy fuck. Do they do this? I imagine they're repetitive about certain things. But do they do this?
Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that.
Books you've read
There
don't
were
repeat
those of you
themselves
who
like
were
this.
good.
I should hope not.
And that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes!
Yes, I do.
She said this
I
like
think
10
it would make for a
times.
fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and
I
foremost.
feel like this is the first thing we learned about her.
Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
We just... Okay. I know this wasn't between Kisara and Dohalim. It was Dohalim and Alphen, but we just had the conversation, like, probably 20 minutes ago at this point. We're 50 minutes in. All I've done is stay here and listen to dialogue. Like, we just had this conversation. I'm just, like, falling farther into my chair. We just had the conversation about how Dohalim is gonna go back to Lenegis. He's also said in the past, I'm gonna, like, come back to Lenegis. I'm losing my willpower to... I am this close to skipping cutscenes, and I really don't want to skip cutscenes near the end of the story.
Whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of
Where's
business
the
may
term
be to
human
find
come
somewhere
from
to
when
live.
it's Renans and Danans?
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
Oh, actually.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me.
I mean,
I'll
human is
always
still
be
the
there for you,
overarching...
Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara.
I'm trying to come up with a reason. I was like, Renans and Danans looks like a country, but really it's like, oh, that's their home planet. So, like, but they're still like human. They're all human. But then they're also like, oh, but we were a different race. We're like a better race than the Danon. The Danons are the lower race. But they're all the human race. You make a good point, Everick.
I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey,
The first syllable from Kusara and Dohalim is Doki. Do and Ki. What does that mean in Japanese? That immediately makes me think Doki Doki Literature Club. Which I never played. Doki Doki is an onomatopoeia in Japanese for hearts beating. Ew. Interesting. I didn't know that.
why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true...
We're gonna have... We just had a heart-to-heart. Now we're gonna have another heart-to-heart. And there's gonna be a third heart-to-heart after this. Fuck my life.
then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
We just had long conversations with each person, and now we're having more long conversations with each person.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before. About whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we
To pull the mic closer to me. As players, at this point in the story, we're 50 hours in. We've gone over Winwell's past and how she feels about her family and the relation to Dana many times. Law does not need to fucking repeat to be like, well, we need to explain to the audience again, just to remind them, because they have the memory of a goldfish.
rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe.
Heverick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
I look bored, but that was very cute. It's because it's just...
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
Here it comes! Heart to heart number 3!
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is.
And you know we're going to have one more cutscene with everyone. And then we're going to have another cutscene with everyone in Heverick again. And we're going to have another cutscene with everyone. And then we're going to get on the ship and have another cutscene with everyone. And it's just... ugh.
How are you doing, Shion?
I am predicting that it's going to take another half an hour at least to get to Rena.
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Heverick 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, But we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
I don't know why the forgiveness is happening here.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
It's like him being like, I promise to do what you say, but I'm going to do everything in my power to not do what you say. So please forgive me.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? At least they're committing to, like, the romance in the game. So many games will, like, this is the hint at it, and they'll have, like, and then you, like, walk away. It's like, yeah, they're probably shipped, but not really.
Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck.
It says Hevreki. Oh, it says Hevreki. I love it. Best typo ever.
In this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Its entire race is about to be
Well,
extinct,
come
and we're
on,
gonna
Joe.
kill more of them. Shut up,
Hold
Law.
up. Did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
Is there a shop here? I forget. No, there's not. Maybe we're gonna get to Rena a lot faster than I assumed. I ain't lifted my head till I have an actual dungeon to go through or whatever.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
Oh. Oh my god, we're finally doing things.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Called that one. Super
Then this
early.
must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
Oh my god, I'm finally gonna play a game.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't
Special
let
owls
Dana
here?
suffer the same fate. Ever.
Seeing it with all of you. Yeah, they were more coy about things, but it was... They've more or less confirmed the shipping that exists.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty weird. Swimming in a pool of hollowed out people.
So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up.
Ugh. Fuck.
Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
I was resting my eyes that entire time. Okay. Do I have the option of just going back? I totally do. Did I finish? Oh, okay. There's gonna be a few owls here. So I do have the option of like going back, and I could like do all these side quests before finishing the main story. Still not strong enough for most. Most of those were level 60 something. So that's not. So I probably won't bother. I will go back for the owls though. Owls are on Dana. Did it say on Dana? I thought it said on Rena. There were some special owls on Rena. Isn't that what it said? Did I read it wrong? Is it Dana? I mean, that makes more sense. I'll go back and do that before the final fight. Okay, that's a return point. That's also... Oh, this is going to be big. Got 2 return points. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it should be like a big final area. It should be like 3 final areas.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Stop! Fuck.
I wonder what
can't not watch them
Helganquil
either.
civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Runny jumpy shooty game? Is that the one with that demo I tried?
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Or was that something else?
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, Resonance of Fate.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen.
that's
There
one
are
hell of a
regular
game.
Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Kinda is.
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hoodle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hoodle!
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the hell?
The fuck? so many. Resonance of Fate is it's a crazy. I had to play that twice for the story because by the end of the game I had no idea what the fuck was even happening. However, the writing in that game is really good because it's also a game that does not hold your hand. Like, you need to pay attention. And even then, you still might need to see it again to, like, really, like, understand why, just understand what the fuck is even happening in the grand story of it. Like, I remember being so massively confused at the very beginning of that game. Because the very beginning of that game, you have like a teaser, you have like that teaser opening that shows you like some events out of context, where you see, what you quickly find out is like the suave main character with like the younger guy main character, and you see the older guy seemingly sticks a gun in the guy's mouth and then shoots. But the camera pans away, so you're like, okay, maybe you didn't actually shoot him, I don't know. And then the actual opening scene, since you did say you played it, the actual opening scene was like the anime of like the girl of the group who like jumps off the tower, presumably to her death, and then the younger guy is there, and you're like, didn't he just get shot in that cutscene? Maybe that happens later, I don't know. That was out of context. And then he jumps and catches her, and then they're just falling for thousands of feet down to like the next city on the lower tier of the tower. It's like presumably to their deaths, and then immediately in the next cutscene, it's all three of them living together, and you're like, what the fuck is this game? I don't understand.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
I would say Resonance of Fate is a good game. I said half an hour until we get to Rena, but really it's half an hour until I get to do something. I've been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes. It's been an hour and 20 minutes of cutscene.
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
4 grips, 6 silencers, 6 sights. Yeah. You only had 4? I had like 14.
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
I finally get to do a thing.
Another incantation ruined.
I'll finish you here and now! Ripping you apart!
The flame!
On your eat this! Come and get it! I'm just getting started!
Sparkling stars of light! Rain down!
In a bind.
Now!
Shion!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble. Shine. Too slow. Force of regeneration. All finishing here and now.
I can handle it!
Deny! Talent Sword!
Thanks, Shion.
You get
I'll
the
tear you apart. Watch this.
That'll bring you down!
Dragon Shell. Anything in armor is all regeneration.
Make it ready!
Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around.
Wide open.
Certainly not.
I'm on a roll now. Now I'm in trouble. Here you go. I feel like me. I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw. Breath of life. I'm on it. The enemy wields arcs too.
We'll soon see about that.
Lost my cue.
Photon Blast!
Armor won't save you.
More where that came from.
I'm ready.
Alvin, Astral Energy!
Say no more.
Breath of life. Faster. Heal my weary.
Wait, how many are there? Are they just multiplying?
I'm just getting
Illuminate
started.
the dark!
Flaming meteor. Hurricane. Inferno blocking. You see what happened there as you crossed. Shouldn't have done that.
Now!
Look up, Rinwell. Demons descend. Flashing fang.
Easy! Way to go!
All finishing here and now. How about this? Glimmer dragon. Piercing war. Eagle. I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw.
I've shortened the burst strikes? What do you mean? What do you mean shortened?
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done.
Aren't they the
But
same?
I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danon slaves?
Seems like they're
Perhaps.
shorter. No, it's just very
However,
fast.
If we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate
It's just the fact that we've been sitting here falling asleep to cutscenes that when we finally had some action, it seemed like it was way faster than it normally is.
to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
At least they didn't seem shorter to me.
Now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
You did laundry, had a shower. Well, you were more productive than I was. Why more skits?
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for?
You know what I've noticed? Fuck off. Oh my god. You know what I've noticed about a lot of the skits in this one in particular? There's less like interpersonal fun stuff and more of them just like talking about what's around them. And I've lost my train of thought. it's something to do with the fact that it's like oh yeah, it's like they do what a lot of games now where they're like, hey, turn your brain off. Don't look at the environment and think about the environment. Just wait for the skit to come up that tells you about the environment and what you should be thinking about. Because that's what that skit was. Hey, you should think about what's around you and how it was built. Instead of just like, here's the thing, they are showing us, but then they're going out of their way to tell us. Just being like, hey, it's kind of just a waste of time. More than anything, it's just a waste of time.
Ganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
Like all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renin Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
That
Do
is
you
what we
think
get.
that's
Like
foolish?
when we get
On the
skits, we're
contrary,
getting like
I should like to take a
between
leaf
like
from your
4
book
and 6 at a
myself.
time.
In
I've noticed that
tragedies
throughout the
aftermath,
entire game.
Hope is all we have.
They're not like, fuck. Like they're not like peppered in. Like every time we get to a new area, it's like, bam, here's like 5 skits. It's just like, you're not like watching like 1 or 2, and they don't seem to be like, there's very few like contextual like comments on like that of the game itself, because there's always those skits like, man, we've gathered a lot of items, or man, we've like eaten a lot of food, or whatever. Like there's very few of those, and there's very few of them like interacting. It's just them like talking and thinking about like things that like the player could think about themselves, but the game's like, no, we're gonna do that thinking for you. We're thinking for you. Here's more skits to watch.
Just look at the size of that thing. And how Ganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. No, even before that. Just how many people, Renin or Danon, do you think have ever seen this?
Regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
You mean the device
Borrow one of their
we've already
contraptions?
used?
You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You mean that device
You know what he
that we
said,
already
Law.
used in the
Once he
wedge?
gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out
And
of
we've
it.
already seen 2 of them in the entrance? Like we need to have a whole skin conversation about— fuck. Sarayu, I'm on the same page as you with this game. It's great until the end. I hate this game right now. But I can't not watch every skit because fuck. Fucking OCD about that shit.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
No further. On guard. Talon storm. Look sharp. Talon hurricane. Your reflexes will not serve you well here. Far enough. Air pressure. Whirlwind snap.
Get in the way.
Time.
In here.
This one's mine. Negative charging. Yours to be let free. Whirlwind snap. Talon storm.
Get in the way.
A wall to shield my not today. I'll end you.
I'm sad I don't get like a cool like battle team for this area too, which is the same as the area.
Go for it.
Prepare to crumble.
Raging cascade.
Post game gets better.
I'll run you through.
This is a game that would actually benefit a lot from a DLC, the same way that like they did in Final Fantasy 15, where like the very final chapter is just like— the difference there though is that the very final chapter in the original Final Fantasy 15 is that it was very short, and because like they just like ran out of game, and so it just kind of like rockets at light speed to the very end, and so you're left with like being like, oh, well, that was it. This is like the opposite, where they ran out of game but kept in every bit of the story, and they were like, well, we can't leave anything out, so we gotta put in the whole story, so here's 7 hours of cutscenes in a row. And I wish I was exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I could probably go back in the VODs and look when this all started and be like, oh yeah, that was 7 hours of— like, I have it all on video. There's another fucking cutscene.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helgan Quill. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Danans?
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danans. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Danans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
I'm glad the story itself is interesting, though. Like, that's what's keeping me going. Or at least that's what let me power through. All the talking. Although I have reached my limit. Like, I know there's gonna be plenty of cutscene because we're like near the end of the game.
Functions as an elevator.
But I want it to be like,
there is likely what's used
like
to control
events, not just more talking about the area we're in. Like, have the game be like, you need to think about this, and like, do I? Do I? Wait for that, Will. Nothing in life is free.
Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate. If it's in the sky, it's mine.
Now I got see what I can do.
Got fires.
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it.
All yours.
See what happened there is
I really don't like tiny enemies in this game. There's so many abilities where you just end up like going around them or above them or whatever.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I hope the embodiment of the Great Spirit is a massive beast.
I'll tear you apart!
So I can't fucking miss him.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free.
I'll tear you apart!
This one's yours. I'm on it. All yours, Kisara.
It's gonna be a fly. God damn it.
We did it.
Magnificently done.
This one burn in hell.
Oh, fucking got up. I did my earth punch. That's bad.
First strike. Run well. Demon's descent. Flashing fang. You're wide open. Death blossom.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
First strike.
What the fuck?
Where are you going? Blah, blah, blah.
Damn. I should have aimed her thing better.
Make it rain. Hey, blow them away.
How's that? I'll finish you here and now!
Hurricane foot.
Eagle assault!
In the wind.
Dragon! I'm just getting started! Armor won't save you! You're wide open! On your knees!
Super swallow
Air
dip.
pressure!
Flaming meteor.
You require a hand.
I'll tear you apart! That's enough!
In an instant.
Did I ever get that new ability for Law? Or is that the thing that's on his neck? Is that next on his thing? I think it's the next one on his list.
Radiant ray. I'm on some regeneration.
In here.
Regenerate.
Rip his hair!
Allow me to help. I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Yeah, I'm now at you. I'm like, oh, I get it now. So I heard you say, and I'm like, well, the game's great so far, so I don't know what you mean by this ending. Was it like the story went to shit or what? Now I know. The story didn't go to shit. The presentation of the story went to shit.
No further!
This one's mine.
I'm on it! There you go! Denied! My head spinning just... Hey! Throw them away!
Far beyond the darkest skies.
I'm just getting started!
Keep spawning.
Not on my watch.
This one's mine.
Talent Storm!
Hurricane Spike.
I'm just getting pissed on!
Lightning
Not
to death.
today! First strike!
Thunder blade. Illuminate
These
the
sticks
dark.
have got your
Come
name on them!
forth, Hurricane
Whirlwind
Strike.
snap!
Holy Lance.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Ridwell! Heaving descent! Flashing fang! Easy!
Way to go.
Now I'm in the groove!
How long is this fight? How long is this elevator? Are we just going straight to the core right now?
Where are you going?
Dragon Challenge!
In here.
Going in.
I'll finish you here! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I mean, I said I wanted action, so I guess I'm getting it.
All right. It's showtime.
Talent hurricane! I'm ready! Hey! Throw them away!
Purge
Too
malevolence.
slow!
Benediction light.
Eagle's armor won't save you!
Benediction light.
Nothing gets by you!
What a relief. No arms being interrupted.
Eat this!
That'll bring you down.
They smite with blackened flame!
Too much to handle.
I'm ready! Hey! Throw them away!
Dance
Too
to the
slow!
wind. Hold on to your heart. Here I come.
This one's mine!
Hurricane Strike.
Feast assault!
Showtime.
Now I'm in the groove! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life! And done!
Let's keep up the pace.
Just getting started! Heal! I'm ready! Ridwell! Heaving descent! Flashing fang!
Illuminate the dark.
Look, it's at 10,000 damage.
This one's mine.
Burn time!
Holy Lance.
Eat this! Illusion deity!
I'm guessing this is the last one.
Super swallow dance! You're done! Illusion deity can't get out of this!
Lightning
Strike! Super swallow dance!
Holy Lance.
Demon Lash! Hurricane! Eagle Ray!
If it's in the sky, it's mine.
Take it! Illusion deity! Through!
Far beyond the darkest
I
skies.
can carve through armor!
This one's mine.
Elusive deity! Hurricane! I'm ready!
Frozen.
I mean, I'm not upset that the fight lasted a long time. I was just like surprised. I was like, holy shit.
There's always room for improvement.
Just kept seeing more and more and more enemies. But hey, that was 17,000 experience. So I'll take it. Ah, there it is. Fang Bolero. Bolero. See, I'm like awake now because I'm actually playing a game. But yeah, this game would benefit from a DLC that just like finished, like fleshed out the end of the game so that you don't end up with 7 hours of cutscene. That'd be cool. It'd be fun to watch me play a visual novel. I hate visual novels. I can
Even in
watch
such a harsh
I can watch a
environment as this,
playthrough of
there are
someone
still
else that I
creatures
find
here?
You
entertaining
think they're native
if
to
it's like a
Rena?
really good
Or
visual
could they be
novel.
Zoogles somehow?
But I
Whatever they
get
are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around.
I
them.
get super fucking bored. And it's because like I don't know, I just get super fucking bored. I find that they're never... I mean, some of them are probably good. Like, some of the acclaimed ones I could play. Even though I've already completely watched a playthrough of
Hey, are
that
we gonna
pigeon
get going
one.
or what?
What's that pigeon one called? I forget now. Hotiful Boyfriend. That's what it is. I've already been spoiled on that one. That's fucking amazing. Like, I could play some of the greats like that, but I find most of them are just like they're boring. Like, they're just bad. They're not well written. Like, if I'm gonna sit there and read a story, I'll just read a book, because they'll be better. Maybe that's mean. Maybe I'm being hypercritical of an entire genre of game. I have zero
You think
interest
that
in
pit
those.
stretches all the way to Rena's core?
It's the same.
If that's
How
true,
I have.
and if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the bottom.
It's the same
We
how
could
I have
get
zero
there even
interest in
faster
like
if we simply jump down instead.
You sound alarmingly serious
like-
when you say that.
keep missing it, I think. I also have zero interest in point and click adventure games. Anytime I see that, I'm like, oh, pass. Like, I get frustrated and annoyed and bored.
Where are you going?
So I know it's a waste of time to even try playing one.
This one's mine. These things really get on my nerves.
Their arcs were interrupted.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Yeah, it makes sense why, like, erotic visual novels are more of a thing.
I'm like bait to them.
Because you at least have the promise of something, even if it doesn't deliver, or if it delivers in a really terrible way, and you may as well just watch porn, but...
Oh, now I'm real mad. I'm just getting started. I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Can you take it? Go, Halim! All yours, Kisara.
But there are a lot of people, me included, that will suffer through some mediocre bad shit just for a little something, something, you know what I'm saying? It's never worth your time in the end, really, but you do it anyway.
Come and get it! I'll smash you!
Keep missing it!
Can you take it? Oh, eat dirt! On your shield and me! Watch this! Meteor! Inferno, tear you apart! I'm ready!
This one's got your name on it.
Action to action! You're on a roll now! Everlasting dark! Storm! Negative gate! I'm ready!
Kisara, frozen.
Hammer!
Nicely done.
All thanks to you!
I'm ready.
Negative gate! Piercing roar! Feast of evil side! I'm on her!
Chinese supernova.
In a bind? Make it rain! Goodwill! Demon's descent! Flashing fang! Too slow! Hurricane storm! I'm gone! They smack with
Good to know my
The
training
ones that
is
ended up being
paying
really good.
off.
Oh, yeah. And like the original reason you came, you're like, oh, right. I came here for the eroticness. Suddenly there's eroticism.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
attack time! They smite with I'm on it! The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Miss.
These ones can run rings around us.
Being interrupted. You picked the wrong fight! I'm on it!
The best part about having Alpha in the reserve is he can still do his boost strike at 1 HP and it doesn't matter.
Should have met, yeah! And the pummeling heal my weary storm!
Oh, fucking miss.
I'll
There you go.
crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'm on hurricane! That's enough!
I'm glad you found a lot of like good stuff to read at least.
Talon storm!
Or-
Can you take it?
Make it red, Kisara! I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life! And done!
Let's keep up the pace.
Regenerate! Can't get out of this! First strike! The grind
Much
is ready!
obliged.
Speaking of that, did you know Renans and Danins have unique ways of...
Tell me that tornado drop! I'm on shine! Radiant light! Burn in hell! Take that! Breath of life! Heal my weary companion!
I've used too much. Another incantation brewing.
Demon lash! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! You're wide open! I'm just getting started!
Oh, I didn't equip my new thing. I want to get rid of Talon Storm. Oh, is it midair? Oh. I mean, I do need one because I just have 2 Glimmer Dragons.
Yeah, appreciate the concern.
The sooner you stop thanking, the sooner you can start
What?
helping.
I mean, yes, sir. First strike! That's enough! I'm just getting pissed off! Rip and tear!
I like Fang Valero. I was hoping for another ground one though.
I lack the energy for healing arts.
He has almost no attacks that like take more than 1. These take CP, which is why I never use them. I want to say I really hate Fang Blast as well. I mean, I don't hate Talon Storm. It's just very similar. It's basically like downgraded Talon Hurricane. That's all he has. I think Fang Blast is like a really slow one I don't care for. Okay, I need a shop somewhere. I could just leave, I guess. Running low on gels. That's a biggin. Okay, use another one. Okay, this is where we started today. 5523. 5703. Oh, I went so slow. I missed my bonus.
We're in for a long slog with this one. In a bind.
We're in for a long slog with this one. Thanks, Kasara.
That's enough.
Yeah, I really don't like Fang Blast.
Now I'm in the groove. I'll crush you.
I mean, it's different than...
Tenebrous claw.
I mean, the end of Talon Storm's pretty long as well.
Not my finest.
I couldn't make it in time.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
I only did what any other woman.
I think you're nicer than you let on.
Eat this!
Just let
This one's mine! Eat this!
Stop! You have the thing! Stop dodging me!
Eat this! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare to Malisa! Eat this! Glacial fire! That frickin' does it! Whirlwind snap! Blow away!
I've let you all down.
Forgive me.
It's my fault. I never miss.
Mike with blackened
Not on
blade!
my watch.
Eat dirt!
Just use them all.
Execution!
On your now roar! Astral energy!
Say no more.
Inferno crossing!
Lightning orb!
Imbued with soul.
I'm hurt bad.
Photon sword! Raging cascade!
Damn it!
Guardian
Fatal!
dance to the wind!
First strike!
Sleep now.
That's enough! Ignite!
I'll be saving this one.
Time to start! I'll tear you apart! Now I'm in the groove! That's enough!
Yeah, I really don't like Fang Blast. Go back to Talon Storm.
Shine!
In here!
wanted to like change it up because like he actually doesn't really have a lot of options. I keep expecting to like learn more through usage, but I'm just not learning more through usage.
Now you see what I can do. Rending you up on a roll now. I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare the Malisa.
Unless I gotta use like the spirit ones and I'll learn some like some more stuff. I don't know.
Piercing roar. Talent hurricane. In here. Right, keep up the pressure. Lethal strike. Down on the ground. I'll end you. I'm gone. Breath of life. Heal my weary. Eat this. Shine. Radiant can't get out of this.
Sealed.
Super swallow dance.
You all tucked away.
No,
I can't take much more.
Come on. You got
That's unfortunate.
from beyond. Imbue this vanquished soul with life.
Get on guard.
Resuscitation. Breath of life. Heal my weary companion. Cure. Appreciate the help. I'm on it.
Come forth.
That's enough.
Blaze
I'll tear you apart. Radiant light. Regeneration. I let you all down.
I tried dodging again.
Adversity is said to be the best motivation.
Dealing with some literary snobs getting upset about English speakers and mistaking their carpentry.
Another incantation ruined.
Yeah, that's the thing people do like all the time. Like it won't be that long before that's no longer like a bad thing.
Regenerate. I'll tear you apart. I'll finish you here and now. Far enough. Appreciate the help. I'll run you
This will come in handy.
Shine. Radiant light. Regeneration. In a bind. Come and get it. Talent in here. Burn. Elusive deity. Soaring blast. Tectonic punch. Whirlwind step. Talent hurricane. Inferno elephant.
You got this one covered.
Eagle side. I'll smash you. This one's mine. I'm on it. Super swallow dance.
Not on my watch.
Hurricane spike. Right to hell. Heal my weary companion. Eagle side. You see what happened there as you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that. Eat this. That's enough. I felt fine not too long ago. I'll crush you.
Say from where did this come instead of where did this come from.
Reflexes. Tenebrous claw.
No one says it from where this did this come. Even though I'm sure that's the grammatically correct way to do it. No one says it that way. No one is ever gonna say it that way. If you read it in a book, yes, you'd understand it, but no one fucking talks that way.
Make it ready. All yours, Kisara.
Like being a grammatical purist in any language is stupid.
Step back. This one's
You're creating
all
frustration for yourself. Given the malleability and the evolution of languages,
This might be some decent equipment.
what is proper is consistently changing. So you're just annoying yourself and those around you by being a purist about it. That's what you should. That's what you should tell them.
Easier is okay by me.
Don't be snobby. Just be like, you're creating a lot of frustration for yourself by doing this. That's all you need to say. We have barely... I guess a lot of my CP got used up by the elevator. I forgot how long the elevator was. I kind of want to leave and, like, camp and stuff. Because I'm out of a food buff and I need to go to a shop. But we'll see. In the immediate... It's been 2 hours, so I'm going to take a break. Stretch my legs. Throw out these, food. Edamame. Throwing out this edamame. So I'll be right back.